The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, Sri Lanka's central bank conducts $750 million under-sterilized Forex sales to government, tightening liquidity in banking system. Sri Lanka's rubber industry applauds US decision to reduce tariffs, boosting export competitiveness. Sri Lanka stocks dip slightly amid investor caution and market uncertainty. And Berkshire Hathaway takes $3.8 billion write-down on Kraft Heinz amid challenging market conditions.
From Studio 24C, here's Prashansa Gunawardena.
Good evening and welcome to the Nightly Business Report. Sri Lanka's central bank conducted unsterilized foreign exchange sales worth 231.9 billion rupees to the government in the first half of 2025, helping reduce excess liquidity in the banking system. Despite these efforts, the rupee has depreciated this year.
Sri Lanka's central bank sold 231.9 billion rupees worth of foreign exchange to the government through unsterilized sales in the first half of 2025, reducing liquidity in the banking system. During this period, the central bank also purchased dollars from banks amounting to 299.4 billion rupees and injected 109.3 billion rupees through dollar swaps. Overall, inflationary operations expanded reserve money by 410.8 billion rupees. Liquidity was further reduced by maturing bonds and coupon payments on government securities, while currency usage increased by 106.4 billion rupees. The unsterilized dollar sales helped tighten liquidity, which is expected to raise interbank rates based on classical economic principles. However, despite these measures, the rupee has depreciated in 2025, indicating insufficient deflationary operations to counterbalance dollar purchases.
The Inland Revenue Department has extended the validity of the personal identification number for taxpayers until November 30th. This extension applies to all taxpayer categories, including individuals, partnerships, and corporate entities. The PIN is necessary to access taxpayer accounts through the Revenue Administration. The IRD emphasized that filing tax returns for the years 2024-2025 assessment year is mandatory. Taxpayers must submit their returns online via RAMIS platform. The department urged taxpayers to comply with the filing requirements within the stipulated timeline. The Plastics and Rubber Institute of Sri Lanka has welcomed the US decision to reduce tariffs on Sri Lankan exports to 20%, boosting the country's rubber and plastics industries. This tariff cut is seen as a crucial step in enhancing Sri Lanka's export competitiveness amid ongoing economic recovery efforts.
The Plastics and Rubber Institute of Sri Lanka has welcomed the US decision to reduce tariffs on Sri Lankan exports to 20%, benefiting the country's rubber and plastic sectors. This reduction comes at a critical time as Sri Lanka navigates economic recovery under an IMF bailout program. PRISL expressed optimism that the tariff cut will help restore demand for Sri Lankan products in the US market to pre-tariff levels. The institute praised the efforts of Sri Lanka's trade negotiators and political leaders for securing the favorable outcome. The US remains a key trading partner, and the revised tariff framework strengthens bilateral trade relations. PRISL emphasized the need for local manufacturers to focus on innovation, product diversification, and meeting sustainability standards to capitalize on this opportunity.
The Department of Motor Traffic has launched a new service counter at Bandaranaike International Airport to issue temporary driving license for foreign tourists. Previously, this service was only available at the Berkshire office. The airport counter operates 24/7 and offers biometric and photo capture facilities, multilingual assistance, and same-day license issuance. Temporary licenses will be issued only for light vehicles and motorcycles, valid for up to 5 months at a fee of 2,000 rupees per month. Applicants must present a valid full driving license from their home country along with a passport and visa, and provide a certified English translation if necessary. Licenses for heavy vehicles and three-wheelers will not be issued under this scheme. Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Business Report. Sri Lanka's stock market saw a slight dip last week, with both major indices ending in the red. The ASPI and S&P SL20 recorded modest declines amid cautious investor sentiment. For further insights, we speak with Manusha Kandanarachi from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Colombo stock market faced selling pressure today after the index briefly crossed the psychological 20,000 mark in the early trading. However, the upward momentum was short-lived as a wave of selling pressure pulled the market down. By the close of trading, the index had dropped 128 points to end the day in the red at 19,786 as well. Banking sector stocks and holding companies exerted a negative pressure on the index, while John Hills Holdings, Melsta Corporation, NDB Bank, Access Engineering and Bukit Dara emerged as the top negative contributors to the index as well. Today, the daily turnover amounted to 4.5 billion rupees, which is a 37% decrease from the monthly average of 7.2 billion rupees as well. The banking sector contributed turnover amounting for 30%, followed by the capital goods and diversified financial sectors with a joint contribution of nearly 30%. Top three price gainers of the day were SPH, Singha Hospital and Taj Lanka Hotels, whereas the top price losers of the day were SMB Finance, followed by Mercantile Shipping Company and Lanka Swiss Tech.
Sri Lanka's stock market posted positive momentum last week, supported by improved investor sentiment and steady foreign inflows. Gains were recorded across key indices, reflecting optimism amid ongoing economic stabilization efforts. For further insights on how the market performed this week, we speak with Shana Kanagaratnam from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Colombo Stock Exchange began the week on a cautious footing, retracing some of the gains made in the prior week. The ASPI declined by 128 points to close at 19,786, accompanied by a turnover of Rs 4.5 billion, signaling a shift in the short-term market momentum. Despite the initial dip, overall market sentiment is expected to remain positive for this week, though intermittent profit-taking may occur as investors reassess valuations. Both retail and high-net-worth investor participation is likely to remain steady, with daily turnover projected to range between Rs 4 to 6 billion during the week. Looking ahead, investor behavior will likely be shaped by upcoming release of corporate earnings for the quarter ending June 2025. From a sectoral perspective, banking and capital goods are expected to retain investor interest. Thank you.
Gold prices held steady in Asian trade today after a sharp rise in the previous session, buoyed by expectations for Federal Reserve interest rate cuts following weak US labor data and heightened trade tensions under President Trump. Spot gold was largely unchanged at 0.2% to $3,360.20 an ounce, while gold futures for December gained 0.2% to $3,412.70 an ounce. Platinum futures ticked up 0.2% to $1,318.65 an ounce, while silver futures rose 0.6% to $37.15 per ounce. Benchmark copper futures on the London Metal Exchange gained 0.3% to $9,672.75 a ton, while US copper futures fell 0.7% to $4.40 a pound. US copper prices plunged 20% last week after President Trump excluded refined metal from his planned 50% import tariff on the metal. Oil prices fell in Asian trade today after the OPEC Plus agreed to further increase production in September, while concerns over a cooling US economy and trade tariffs also weighed. Brent oil futures for September fell 0.5% to $69.35 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 0.3% to $65.90 a barrel. But both contracts clocked some gains last week as the US threatened more sanctions on Russian oil, which could tighten global supplies. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies yesterday agreed to raise oil production by 547,000 barrels per day in September, a similar margin as that agreed for August. The OPEC Plus had hiked production by about 548,000 bpd in August and about 411,000 in July. The Sri Lankan rupee has appreciated slightly against the US dollar today compared to last Friday. According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the buying rate of the US dollar has reduced from 298 rupees and 17 cents to 297 rupees and 43 cents. But the selling rate has also reduced from 305 rupees and 78 cents to 305 rupees and 09 cents. However, the Sri Lankan rupee has depreciated against the basket of foreign currencies, while it has appreciated against Gulf currencies. Let's take a closer look on how the Sri Lankan rupee has performed among other major global currencies. Short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Starlink partners with Singer Sri Lanka PLC to bring high-speed satellite internet to the island nation. The move, backed by Dhammika Perera's Hales PLC, marks a major tech milestone for Sri Lanka.
Singer PLC, a subsidiary of Hales PLC, has been appointed the official distributor for Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service in Sri Lanka. This partnership aims to expand high-speed internet access across the country using Starlink's low Earth orbit satellite technology. Although an official announcement is pending, Singer has hinted at the development through a teaser on its verified Facebook page, and it has been confirmed by the Starlink Sri Lanka official Facebook page. Hales PLC, which owns 67.13% of Singer, is controlled by Dhammika Perera, who holds a 51.1% stake in Hales. Unlike traditional satellite internet relying on high-orbit geostationary satellites, Starlink's LEO system significantly reduces latency, enabling seamless streaming, gaming, and video calls.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon and Sathosa Motors PLC have partnered to launch a nationwide promotion aimed at making Isuzu trucks and cabs more accessible through attractive leasing options. The campaign, running until the 31st of March 2026, offers 50,000 rupees off on Isuzu trucks and 100,000 rupees off on Isuzu cabs, along with 3 free services including labor and materials. Commercial Bank is supporting the initiative with custom leasing packages featuring competitive interest rates and flexible repayment terms to suit both individuals and small businesses. The partnership reflects Commercial Bank's strength in vehicle financing and its history of collaborations with top automotive brands. It continues to expand globally with operations in Bangladesh, Maldives, Myanmar, and soon a representative office in Dubai. DEMO and Bank of Ceylon have joined forces to offer accessible leasing solutions for premium vehicles across Sri Lanka. This partnership aims to enhance mobility and economic inclusion for individuals, SMEs, and enterprises nationwide.
DEMO has partnered with Bank of Ceylon to provide affordable leasing solutions for a wide range of vehicles, including Mercedes-Benz, Jeep, and Tata across Sri Lanka. Leveraging BOC's extensive network of 651 branches and DEMO's diverse vehicle portfolio, the collaboration aims to increase access to premium mobility for individuals, small businesses, and enterprises. Customers will benefit from exclusive leasing rates and concessionary interest rates, making vehicle ownership more attainable. Special discounts are offered on Tata commercial commercial vehicles, and DMO will waive insurance fees on popular models like the Ace HT2 and Xenon Yoda pickup until August 2025. DMO will also provide comprehensive after-sales services including 24-hour roadside assistance and expert technical support. This partnership reflects a shared commitment to promoting inclusive economic growth by improving mobility and financial inclusion across Sri Lanka.
BIMA Services Private Limited, in partnership with global company BIMA, has launched TrueCare, a subscription-based healthcare service for the Sri Lankans living abroad to provide real-time medical support for their families in Sri Lanka. The service offers immediate telemedicine consultations, specialist care, medicines, lab services and ambulance support with payments managed by BIMA. Subscribers make a single annual payment to nominate a family member for continuous medical support through BIMA's healthcare network. The service is accessible online, allowing overseas Sri Lankans to register and activate benefits quickly and securely. TrueCare is not an insurance plan but offers tiered annual payment options to make healthcare more accessible and connected to families and back home. DFCC Bank has launched the Badumalla campaign to reward loyal remittance customers receiving funds through Lanka Money Transfer. The initiative, marking the bank's 70th anniversary, offers monthly supermarket vouchers to recognize the crucial role of remittances in supporting Sri Lankan households and the national economy.
DFCC Bank has introduced the Badumalla campaign to honor loyal customers receiving remittances via Lanka Money Transfer. The campaign celebrates the bank's 70th anniversary and highlights the vital role of remittance recipients in supporting families and the national economy. Each month, 70 customers will receive 10,000 rupees worth of supermarket vouchers automatically awarded to the first 70 DFCC bank accounts to receive inward remittances through LMT. Customers are eligible for one reward during the campaign, regardless of transaction frequency. The promotion is accessible through DFCC's nationwide branches and requires no additional paperwork for qualification.
Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Asian stock markets traded mixed today as Japan's Nikkei slumped, tracking Wall Street's decline over a weaker US jobs report, while other regional indexes saw limited movement as investors evaluated the effects of newly announced US tariffs. A stronger yen weighed heavily on Japanese exporters and capped gains in the Nikkei 225, which lost more than 2% today, wiping out most of last week's modest recovery. The Shanghai Composite Index was little changed, while the Shanghai Shenzhen CSI 300 traded largely flat. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index edged 0.2% higher today. Australia's S&P ASX 200 fell 0.3%, while Singapore's Straits Times Index rose 0.7%. South Korea's Kospi rose 0.7% after a nearly 4% plunge on Friday. Elsewhere, futures tied to India's Nifty 50 edged up 0.1% today. Kevin Hassett, director of the National Economic Council, said the president is right to call for new leadership, following after Trump ordered the firing of BLS Commissioner Erica McEntaffer.
Top White House advisors on Sunday defended President Donald Trump's firing of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, pushing back against criticism that Trump's action could undermine confidence in official U.S. economic data. Trump ordered the firing of BLS Commissioner Erica McEntaffer on Friday after her bureau's monthly non-farm payrolls report included downward revisions that showed 258,000 fewer jobs had been created in May and June than previously reported. Trump accused her of faking the numbers without providing any evidence of data manipulation. Kevin Hassett, director of the National Economic Council, said the president is, quote, right to call for new leadership. And U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer told CBS that Trump had real concerns about the data. But many economists and officials slammed Trump's move, saying it would shake trust in a respected statistical agency. William Beach, a former BLS commissioner, told CNN there is, quote, no way for a commissioner to rig the jobs numbers, and that there was a 500,000 job revision during President Trump's first term when Beach was commissioner. The revisions in Friday's report were, however, large by historic standards. The BLS gave no reason for the revised data, but noted that, quote, monthly revisions result from additional reports received from businesses and government agencies since the last published estimates and from the recalculation of seasonal factors.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway said it took a $3.76 billion write-down on its stake in Kraft Heinz during the second quarter, an acknowledgement the decade-old investment hasn't worked out.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway said it took a more than $3.7 billion write-down on its stake in Kraft Heinz in the second quarter, an acknowledgement that the decade-old investment hasn't worked out. The write-down followed the struggling food company's announcement that it would consider strategic alternatives, which could include a breakup. It's Berkshire's second write-down for Kraft Heinz, following a $3 billion hit in 2019. Buffett acknowledged at the time that Berkshire overpaid in the 2015 merger of Kraft Foods and H.J. Heinz, one of his biggest investment missteps. Kraft Heinz has suffered as more shoppers favor healthier and private label alternatives. Its approximately 200 brands include Oscar Mayer, Kool-Aid, Velveeta, and Jell-O. Berkshire also reported a 4% decline in quarterly operating profit as insurance underwriting premiums fell. The conglomerate signaled it remains cautious about market valuations amid uncertainty about tariffs and growth in the broader economy. Shares of Berkshire have fallen more than 12% and lagged the S&P 500 by about 22 percentage points since Buffett, who's almost 95, announced in May that he would step down as CEO at year's end. Vice Chairman Greg Abel will succeed him, though Buffett will remain chairman.
That wraps up today's Nightly Business Report. We value your opinion. Share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076805793. We will see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business flow. Vinod Surya will join you next with the other Derana Sports Central. Until then, I'm Prashansa Gunawardena. Thank you for watching and have a good night.